You can see they have the same record as Sacramento. Sacramento has the tiebreaker, though. The Lakers, so Sacramento lost tonight. They lost to the Suns. The Lakers beat the Grizzlies. But I think there's a scenario where if the Lakers lose and the Kings lose, the Warriors, because they have the tiebreaker over the Lakers, they still could get number 8 with that win over the Jazz. Okay. So do you rest guys against the Jazz? I mean, there's a lot of decisions to make here.
There are a lot of decisions you have to make. I think you kind of have to rest some guys because, as Steve Kerr said, it sure seems like they're destined for this 9-10. And that's a gauntlet. You have to win the 2 games on the road to even get into the playoffs. And the reason that I really go for the rest guys is because, look, yes, the Pelicans still have this big game against the Lakers. The Kings are playing the Blazers. And the Blazers are kind of on this Jazz path also where they are down so many guys, super young. They're looking more towards ping pong balls than playing our playoffs right now, right? So that's a game that I expect the Kings to take over the Blazers. But again, you don't know right now with the standings going on.
The Blazers played the Warriors
very good.
Well.
Really well.
Yeah.
And you know what? Actually,
the Grizzlies played the Lakers well. The Grizzlies don't have anything to play for right now.
I go back to that Blazers game, and what Brandon Pajemski said after that game was basically, this is a team full of people trying to prove themselves. You got two-way guys, you have G League guys, and those kind of teams are dangerous. So yes, maybe Scoot Henderson gets going. Maybe these guys that are trying to prove themselves at the end of the season for a young Blazers team has nothing to lose. So why not go all out against the Kings if you're a young player on the Blazers? So great point where the Grizzlies played the Lakers tough. The Blazers played the Warriors tough. Who knows with game 82, but a team that has something to prove is always scary.
No, so there are heavy implications now for that Jazz game, which was a little unexpected had the Warriors taken care of business in this game. They did for 3 out of the 4 quarters, but that's not how basketball works. All right, Steph Curry, our BMW Ultimate Performer, he arrived at 33 points. Steph had 18 points in the second half. Yeah, it was like the Warriors came out at halftime thinking, we have to fight back in this one. And this is one of those occasions where Steph does his best to take over.
Yeah, it was that fourth quarter where he scored 16 of his 33 points in those final 8 minutes, right when you saw the clock go to 7:57. It was a 3-point game, and all of a sudden you saw Zion check in, you saw Draymond check in, you saw Steph check in. So it was go time. No more messing around for either side. So yes, Steph, he played through that rolled ankle in the fourth quarter. He continued to be the clutch player of the year in the NBA, Steph Curry. But it goes back to that second quarter, where again, Steph Curry finished with 7 turnovers, 4 turnovers in that second quarter, and a lot of them you can see he was just frustrated because there was a lot of them where it was Zion Williamson coming from behind, knocking the ball loose, and now the Pelicans are getting going, they're running, and Steph's behind. So again, he was great down the stretch, clutch as he's been all season, but he was part of that second quarter that just came back to bite the Warriors in the end.
Yeah, if we're talking about turnovers being a problem for the Warriors, we do have to acknowledge Steph Curry had 7 of them in this game. He was pressured a lot. That was part of the game plan for the Pelicans. You mentioned Zion steals, 6 steals for Zion Williamson tonight. He arrived at 26 points to pace the Pelicans. Sorry, CJ McCollum with 28 because of that 3-point shooting. Let's talk about that. Let's break that down a little bit more in the second quarter. Because at one time, the Pelicans hit 8 straight threes. And watching this felt like an absolute unraveling. What were your emotions as you watched this?
Unraveling is a great word to say, because look at Trey Murphy II, who can just light it up from Steph Curry range, Klay Thompson range, and he had a hand in his face, but the moment that you see Andrew Wiggins right there, no hand up, hand down, he's going to let it fly. And he's very confident no matter the distance. But yeah, man, the Pelicans, first quarter, 1 of 8 from three-point range. Second quarter, 10 of 13 from three-point range. What? That's wild. 10 of 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they finished with 20 three-pointers in this game. So they shot in this game 52.6%. Their average 38%. What this says, though, this always goes back to what Steve Kerr is talking about, the modern NBA, the modern NBA. And the Warriors just buried the Lakers doing this with 26 threes, 1 off of their franchise record. Tonight, the Warriors got a taste of their own medicine. You have to guard the three. And I think that's been a lesson for the Warriors all season. There's been at least 10 games, maybe a dozen games, where we're talking about opponents getting hot from three and starting to cook the Warriors there, especially those open corner threes, the kickouts that you can predict, but the Warriors just aren't there in time with the hand in anybody's face. So a tough lesson. What do you think about this lesson coming now before the postseason?
Well, I mean, you think about game 81. You can't be still having lessons in game 81,
Sure.
right? That has to be tough, but I love the fact that you brought up the corner threes that are always open. It's been a problem that has really hampered the Warriors this entire season. And tonight, you really saw it when Zion was driving. You would see that extra help would try to get to the paint, because we know what an enforcing player he is down low, obviously, right? But you don't need to do that. You can't let guys open anymore. This is a 5-out NBA now. Everyone can shoot these open three-pointers, and especially the way that Draymond was playing Zion down low especially. He was taking the left hand away. He was able to body him, able to bully him at times down low. You don't need to get extra help. Get it late, but you can't be leaving corner three-pointers wide open in the NBA anymore.
Yeah, you look at the Pelicans shot chart tonight, and you see some places where the Warriors were vulnerable. All right, when we come back on Dubstock Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World, let's talk about Draymond a little bit more. He did something very unusual in this game. And we'll also talk about Zion. Okay, there's Klay Thompson's stink face right there. I don't know if we're going to see Klay on Sunday. To be determined as the Warriors figure out what they want to do with that Jazz game. They are sitting in the 10th spot right now.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by Mancini Sleep World. Visit us during our spring clearance sale. Save big on premium mattresses, plus free delivery. Hurry in now or visit us online at sleepworld.com.
Hey, we were going to have Draymond in the A block, right? Okay, but can I come up and talk about Draymond and then we go into that what would you do video? Yeah. Okay. I think I'm looking at the old rundown. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us on YouTube. Welcome back, Dalton. Really nice to be alongside you again. There are some chaotic comments, I would say, in here. Listen, I understand you guys feeling bad after this game. This was a weird one. That second quarter was out of control. 45-22, the difference there. But to be buried by 8 straight threes, and it was actually CJ McCollum had one, and then there was a dunk, and then it was 8 straight threes. So it was like, okay.
It felt like it was like an NBA jam. He's heating up or something like that. It was over and over and over. And it wasn't like just he's heating up. It was the Pelicans are heating up.
Sure. And then this was after the Warriors had an 11-point lead in the first quarter. And you're like, okay, maybe they're starting in a way that's intentional.
I love the first quarter. It was great. But yeah, that second quarter, CJ McCollum, 5 3-pointers. Trey Murphy, the third, 3 3-pointers. Jose Alvarado, 1. Dyson Daniels, 1. Everyone could just make a 3, it seemed like, in the second quarter, if you were in a Pelicans jersey.
Okay, that's all I can say today.
Is right.
Somebody just called you Daddy Dalton. Daddy Dalton in the comments.
I'm going to go with no comment, Dalton, on that one.
Welcome back to Dubstock Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. Check this out, Draymond. 12 rebounds, 11 assists, becoming the first player in NBA history to record a double-double without any shots. Okay, no field goal attempts in this one. Didn't even get to the free throw line, obviously, because he didn't attempt any shots. Wilt Chamberlain did something simple, but Wilt had a couple free throws, so that's the difference here. But so Draymond is, on the glass. He's facilitating for his teammates, and he's guarding Zion Williamson. That is a tall task right there. So I feel like you live with the fact that Draymond Green is on the floor as a non-shooter tonight.
Yes, but also at the same time, I don't want to end the game where Draymond Green has taken as many shot attempts as me, as you, anyone walking past us right here. A grand total of 0. I just want to at least feel the presence of Draymond Green as an offensive threat, especially what he did on Tuesday night in LA. I'm not saying he needs to go 5 for 5 from three-point range or 5 for 7 by any means. Draymond does not need to be a splash brother, splash cousin, anything in between. But just feel the presence, right? Make them see you as an offensive threat at all. So I would love, even if it's 1 or 2. He did a lot of things that were very valuable tonight.
Yes.
Very valuable. So there's no reason for me to shame Draymond for not taking a single shot. But I just believe that the Warriors are a better overall team when he's seen as that threat as well.
Yeah, we've talked about the dimension that he brings when he can be a scorer as well. We know that Draymond likes to take a couple threes in that first quarter just to keep the defense honest. Tonight, though, he had that Zion assignment. Zion is the top scorer for the Pelicans. He is a very unique player. So, yes, put Draymond on him. Have Draymond at the 4. This is sort of what Draymond at the 4 is meant to do, right? Even Kevon Looney played in this game to have some minutes on Valanciunas. Also, Trace Jackson-Davis as well, going up against one of the better bigs in the league. Valanciunas is a tough guy, nearly averaging a double-double. So I understand why everything happened tonight. I like Draymond as a scoring threat as well. But yes, his impact was felt in other ways that weren't on the scoreboard. Now, when it comes to Draymond and Zion, there was one play that sort of stood out to me. And I think we can call this, what would you do? Okay, let's take a look. This was in the third quarter, I believe. All right, Zion around the arc here. Draymond decides to sag off. Zion nails that 3. Now, this is interesting because in 68 games, Zion has attempted only 15 threes. He's made 5 of them. So he's a 33% shooter. I think Draymond knew that. What do you think about this situation? What would you have done in this game?
Oh, of course, right? Percentage-wise, you sag off. You know the kind of player that Zion is. You don't want to see him go downhill with a head of steam going to the basket. You're either going to be on a poster or you're just going to go let him do it, right?
Yeah.
So I understand sagging off. At the same time, I still want him to feel Draymond's presence. You saw the beginning of the game. Before Draymond came out, Zion was a -11 just with that presence of Draymond having his body on him. And then you fast forward to the fourth quarter, the next three-pointer that Zion attempted, you saw Draymond was on him. You saw hand in the face, hand up. So just to even have that presence, I want to take away percentages sometimes and go, yeah, look, he's still a very good basketball player. You can get someone wide open when a team is feeling that good about themselves from long distance like that. Yeah, right? I want to see the confidence go down and go, hey, I'm going to respect you no matter what. Hand up. Now you got to beat me in every facet that you have in your basketball repertoire.
As it fit into the context of the game, knowing how well the Pelicans shot the 3-ball and knowing, okay, that those kind of moments can be contagious, maybe you don't let Zion take that shot. I don't know. And listen, I don't know that I want to second guess Draymond because there's also a head game element too. Zion, you want that shot? Fine, shoot it. You're not going to make it. I'm going to back off of you. Like that can impact a guy's confidence as well. But in the moment, because of how well the Pelicans were shooting the 3, the fact that anyone on the floor had a 3 that open, that stood out to me. Although I understand why Draymond sagged off. So there you go. We just wanted to play a little game of what would you do there. All right, we do need to show you something that happened in the fourth quarter. This is Steph Curry here. He played through this ankle roll. I don't know if you want to shut your eyes or what, but ooh, you can see Steph hurt right there. He's fighting through that ankle roll. It was his right ankle. Oh, I don't like it. Oh gosh. Oh, okay. So we wonder, might Steph Curry be one of the guys who gets some rest on Sunday? Dalton, what would you do?
I would rest Steph Curry.
Okay.
Yes, I think that if you're going to make like a big board of a power ranking of players who are most likely going to sit on this Sunday game, Steph Curry has to be at the top of the list. He has to be the one that's the most healthy for the play-in to try to get the crack at two road wins in the play-in. If they're the 9, if they're the 10, obviously get to the playoffs. No one's health matters more on this team than Steph Curry. We know that, of course. And when you see an ankle with Steph Curry, you do want to close your eyes. You do want to grimace and go, no, right? Of course. So Steph Curry's health, no matter what, has to be at the top of the list for Steve Kerr, Rick Celebrini, and everybody else.
Yeah, so Steph got his first rest night against the Utah Jazz the first time they played them this week. So maybe because of this ankle roll, perhaps he will be one of the guys who rests on Sunday. You're absolutely right that everything revolves around Steph. Why not give him that game? Even though that Jazz game does have a little bit more importance now, a healthy Steph feels like the most important thing overall.
100%. I completely agree, especially just with the majority, the likelihood that it's going to be that 9-10. They're going to need 2 cracks. And even if you do somehow get to that number 8, you don't even want Steph Curry at 80%, 75%. 85%? No. Whatever can get him as close to peak Steph Curry, what he's feeling at the end of a season, because no one is 100% healthy right now, right? No, the wear and tear on your body, especially what he goes through. We see him bouncing around like he's in a pinball machine way too often, falling on the ground. So yes, his health matters way more than the final score on Sunday.
All right, spotlighting a few guys on the bench tonight. Moses Moody checking in, giving the Warriors a 3. It's nice to see Kevon Looney in this game, and he only got 8 minutes, but after the Blazers game too, where Steve Kerr said he bailed out the team. All right, here's Kevon Looney stepping in to make an impact as well. Anything to add there?
Sorry. I thought we were going to give video or good sound.
Okay.
But Kevon Looney, same thing. When the moment he gets in the game, you heard the loon chants.
Oh, yeah.
We saw what he did in that Blazers game. He is Mr. Reliable. It feels like he's in year 15, right? It feels like he's been around forever in a Warriors jersey, and that Steve Kerr could always go, I don't care if it's 2 minutes, 6 minutes. If you're on the court, when it's Kevon Looney, he feels comfortable. So, yes, he did put his body on the line with a Zion, with a Valanciunas. So, for how great Trayce Jackson-Davis has done as far as his progress with being a rookie, Kevon Looney has played a part in that as well, and he's still a very, very valuable player on this team.
We talked to Kevon Looney pregame about coaching up TJD, and it's part of the player's code. Like, Kevon is in an interesting situation where he is helping the guy who's taking his minutes get better. Right? But that's what you do as a veteran in this league. You want to make sure the rookies are in a good position, because ultimately everything is about winning. You don't care if somebody's stealing your minutes or whatever. Everybody has to buy in, and the ultimate goal is winning. And this is the same thing that Kevon Looney tried to help James Wiseman with, because it was the same thing that, somebody like Andrew Bogut instilled in him. So there's this exchange right now of like big man knowledge. They were all working with Decky as well. And it's really encouraging to see what Trayce Jackson-Davis can do, because he is going to be very important for the postseason. By having him on the floor, it means Draymond doesn't have to play the 5. That helps Draymond's body. Now tonight, Draymond is going against a bowling ball of a man named Zion Williamson. That is a very tough assignment. But if you can even preserve Draymond, his health, his back, Trayce can do that. It's an interesting situation for Draymond to trust a rookie to help him out with that stuff.
It's huge. And Trayce Jackson-Davis has been able to space the floor for Draymond and for this offense in major ways. We've seen the way Trayce Jackson-Davis has come alive. You can almost expect to see him in double figures now, get close to a double-double. He's a blocking presence down low. So, yes, I think Trayce Jackson-Davis has done a fantastic job. Obviously, when you take into account where he was drafted, but going back to Kevon Looney, he has seen almost everything in his career so far. So hats off to him for what he's done whenever he gets his chance. Hats off to him for what he's done as a veteran. And Trayce Jackson-Davis is just the latest player to be able to take that in, get the knowledge that a Kevon Looney can provide.
Exactly. Trayce Jackson-Davis arriving at a double-double tonight. All right, when we come back on Dubstock Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World, we'll talk about the ways that the Warriors missed JK and GP2, and we'll kind of put a button on this ahead of Sunday's game when we return. Hey guys, we're back on YouTube. Cram is saying Draymond, 35 minutes, 0 points, a starter. Yes, but gravy is what Draymond gives you when he scores points. He gave you so much on the glass. He gave you a lot as a facilitator. He gave you the best defense the Warriors could do on Zion. Zion is in that category of guys who are going to have a good game, but he arrived at 26 points on 26 shots. You will take that against Zion. He really wasn't the one who got going necessarily. It was the 3-point shots that started to bury the Warriors, although Zion's presence was felt more toward the end of the game. All right, what is in here? Yep. And Cram again saying crucial Curry turnovers. Yeah, I'll agree with you right there. Kerith and Dalton have a better chance to play on Sunday than Steph, Clay, Draymond, CP3, and Kuminga. Okay, so what shoes do I need to bring? Which ones are you going to wear?
Yeah. Jeez, I'm trying to think what do I want to go with.
The Reebok pump-ups, I think.
You know what's funny? I legitimately had those in like 8th grade.
Yeah.
Shout out Kenilworth Junior High School. I rocked the pump-ups back in the day. That's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
That's a great shout out.
How much time do we have for the C block? Okay. He had a double still. That is right. Gravy. Thanks, Bree. Thanks for tuning in. We see the same names here. Really appreciate it. Oh, okay. Are you okay with JK and GP?
Oh, yeah,
I mean, they
definitely.
missed kind of point of attack defense. Lengthy folks. Okay, let me get my yawn out now. We're back on Dubstock Live. All right, one more look at the standings. We know the Warriors have clinched the 10 spot. They did that a couple games ago. They're not able to move up tonight with this loss. You can see they are tied with Sacramento, but Sacramento has the tiebreaker. That's why the Warriors are in 10th. The Lakers beating the Grizzlies tonight to move up into that 8th spot. That might not be permanent. The Lakers play the Pelicans. The Pelicans wanting to make sure they have that grip on the 6th seed. So that game is very important for the Lakers and Pelicans. The Warriors will be keeping an eye on that one Sunday when they play the Jazz. All right, one more thing to keep an eye on tonight. JK and GP2 were not in the lineup. They were both injured. How did the Warriors miss those two tonight?
Big time, I think, point of attack defense. You look at the Pelicans' point of attack defense when you think about a Jose Alvarado, a Dyson Daniels, all these different players who kind of throw you off of your motion offense because they are this point of attack defenders. But then you think about Gary Payton II, Jonathan Kuminga, that's where they're great at, is point of attack. Brandon Podziemski, great help defensive player, especially as a rookie, but the point of attack, that's where they hurt a lot, especially in that second quarter when you saw the Pelicans really heating up from long distance.
All right, GP2 out with a calf injury, so the Warriors are being extra cautious there. And then JK, this wasn't a knee issue, it was actually his pelvis. Steve Kerr said he hurt his tailbone and he was in a lot of pain because of a spill that he took against the Blazers. So it made sense to keep those guys out tonight. All right, I just got a note that we're going to look at the schedule, which is very cute because this is game 81 and there's one game left. There it is, baby. Okay, but you can see the in-season tournament. But the Warriors aren't sure yet if they are the 10 seed, the 9 seed. That's the most likely scenario. But on the outside chance that they're the 8 seed, they could be playing on any one of these games, but it all starts next week. So things are going to accelerate very quickly. That game on Sunday is a 12:30 game. So do tune in. We will be here early. Any final thoughts, Dalton?
There's going to be a lot of matinee scoreboard watching on Sunday. So have a good breakfast.
Okay.
Pay attention because all around the league, people are going to be looking at the standings, figuring out where the Warriors will be playing.
The Warriors are going to have breakfast food in the media room. Ooh! Okay, so I guess we have to show up. Yeah, I guess we'll be there. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Dubstock Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. The conversation continues on YouTube. I yawned and somebody said, thanks, Kerith. That was contagious.
Just like the Pelicans three-point shooting?
Oh, gosh.
Too soon? Too soon?
All up is saying TJD is the player they hoped Wiseman would be. Yeah, I would say that as far as like an impactful big, but Wiseman came in at 19 years old with only 3 games in college.
Literally.
So he is the guy that the Warriors revamped their entire training staff for. Because we hear Steve Kerr talk all the time about how there's some players who arrive in the league who just don't have the knowledge base. They have the raw talents, but they don't have the experience. That's what it boils down to.
Really why Decky came in too, right?
Yes.
I mean, he was seen as this, big man savant, obviously, with what he's done with Jokic in the past and all these things. And they saw that with Wiseman because the talent was obviously so raw. in someone like a Trace Jackson Davis, who played over 120 college games. This is a 4-year starter at a big program like Indiana, who played under an NBA coach in Mike Woodson. That's a huge difference, you know? So when you look at the draft, when you look at prospects, fit matters so much, and so does just experience, where you wind up, all of this. Being a big man in a Steve Kerr system takes a little while. It's a lot different than having 3 college games under your belt compared to someone who came in as a 23-year-old rookie, Trace Jackson Davis.
Yeah, I just wanted to look up. I couldn't remember if he was 23 or 24. He had his 24th birthday at the end of February. So
3 years older than Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah, who's had 3 seasons in the league.
Yes.
Which is so that's the difference there. Although I do see the parallel that you're trying to make. It's sort of like the high hopes for a big man, and Trace, who's had a healthy season, which is, you know, very important. That's not what what Wiseman had in any of his 3 years with the Warriors, 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's the difference there. Okay. YouTube caught me yawning, so I think it's time for us to say goodnight. And we will see you this weekend. Really nice to have Dalton back from paternity leave. Nice to have you, teammate.
Thank you, Kerith.
All right, guys, we'll see you this weekend. Bye.